Welcome back to the vlog. We're going to be at Capital Casino playing in the 1-3 game. Um, I got involved in probably the strangest and one of the biggest pots I've ever played. And I basically went with my read that I had, and well, you got to see it. Here it comes. Thank you. Buy in for 500, sit down. First time we play, we have ace jack offsuit. There was one player who limped in front of us. We decided to raise to 20. It's folded back around to the small blind who puts in the call for the 20, and so does the original limper. Headed off to a flop with $63 in the pot. We see a beautiful flop of ace jack 7 with 2 clubs. So we absolutely smash this flop, and we have a player leading into us for $20. Here I decided to raise. Probably not a good idea. I mean, what could he possibly have? He can't have a jack and a flush draw. He can just have a flush draw or maybe a lone ace. Anyway, he mucks ace 10 face up, and we blew that one. There's a $6 straddle, a bunch of limpers, and the button puts in a raise to 17. One other thing about the button, he has his chips racked up and he's headed somewhere else, so I really don't think he wants to get involved. So with ace 5 suited from the small blind, I think this is a perfect opportunity to put on a little squeeze. So that's what I do. I put the squeeze on. I get everyone folding out, and it comes back around to the player on the button, who I think is just not that interested in putting any chips at stake, and he folds ace queen face up. The solid player opens for middle position for 15. It's folded to me on the button. Here, king jack is probably not good enough to play as a call, but that's what I end up doing, and we get a call from the player behind us. Flop comes out king, queen, 5, all hearts. It's checked over to the middle position player who leads for $35. Here, I just don't think he has it yet. I think it seems like he's on some sort of flush draw. The 2 of clubs comes on the turn. Definitely doesn't help my hand. Still worried that I might be up against it. And my opponent now leads bigger. He goes for $80 bet. Oh, tough spot, but I don't think he has it. I think he's betting a draw, maybe something like ace queen with the ace of hearts, or perhaps maybe some sort of combo draw like ace jack with the ace or jack of hearts. River card comes as an ace of spades, and now he checks. And I think that card just killed me. I think he's checking to induce a bet. Anyway, after some thought, I just decided to check it back and hopefully realize any equity I might have. And he turns over ace jack with the ace of hearts. I like the way he played that hand. I've been very quiet for the last hour or so, haven't really done too much, haven't been involved in too many hands. I decided to open up with 8-5 of clubs from the +1 position. Definitely not something I recommend or something I do normally, but in this case I did. I make it 15. I get called in 3 spots, including the player in the big blind. So we're going to go 4 ways to a flop with $61 in. So the flop comes out 8-6-3 with the 8-6 of hearts. Pretty good flop for 8-5 of clubs, but my opponent now leads into me for $65, a very large bet. And I've noticed that often when he uses this bet sizing in this type of position, betting into the pre-flop aggressor, that he's on a big draw like a flush draw or a combo draw. This is definitely a decision point of the hand. If the player has a big combo draw, he has plenty of equity, and I only have top pair with a weak ass kicker. So I got 2 players behind me. I mean, folding is not unreasonable. There's a good chance I'm going to be drawn out on. Option number 2 would be just a call and see what comes on the turn. If it comes a heart, I can get away. If it doesn't, then I can continue. And the third and most risky option would be to call here. And when the turn card comes, and if it's a blank, if it doesn't connect with a flush draw or a combo draw or come ace high for the nut flush draw, I can raise and charge him for his draws and really punish him for betting his draws. The turn card comes as the king of diamonds. It doesn't complete the flush draw. Doesn't hit any of those combo draws I'll be worried about, like 10-9 of hearts, 9-7 of hearts, 5-7 of hearts, 4-5 of hearts. Doesn't hit the nut flush draw unless he had ace king of hearts, which I think he would have re-raised. And he leads into me for $120. So I decided to stick with the plan. I decided that I'm going to charge him for his flush draw. And I raise to 370. And he goes into the tank and he's having a real difficult time. Keeps on saying, I don't think I can let this go. I don't think I can lay this down. Nobody would fold this hand, and so on and so on. At the time, I thought the best possible hand he could have is king, queen of hearts, top pair and a flush draw. And even if he has that, it would be really difficult for him to raise in that spot because it looks like my hand is very strong. Like possible sets, ace king, pocket aces, pocket kings, all those hands I would play this way. So I expect him to put in the crying call, and then I'll be in position. If a heart comes, I can muck the hand, and if it doesn't come, I can either show it down or bet for value if I improve. So after several minutes of tanking, my opponent finally decides on going all in. It caught me by surprise. I didn't expect this at all. I go, the best he can have is a king with a flush draw. Didn't think he would go all in this spot. He has me covered. I have about $380 left. And my thinking at the time was that, okay, I have to weight the three combinations of king, queen, king, jack, and king, 10 of hearts much, much heavier in my calculations to see if I have the right equity to call. After doing that, I decided to give it a 2/3 weighting for those three hands and a 1/3 weighting for the combo draws that I thought that he originally had. And from my calculations, I had a little bit over 25% equity, even by giving him, 67% of the hands having a king, queen, king, jack, or king, 10 hearts. So I didn't like it at all, but I think that he could still be on a big combo draw and was trying for some fold equity. Yeah, I don't like it. It's not the kind of spots I like to get myself into, but this is where I was at, and this is what I was thinking. And yeah, I just toss it in. And we get to see a run out. I'm hoping to catch an 8 or a 5. I catch an 8 of spades on the end. And he flips over king, queen of hearts, and I show him the 8-5, and he just lost his shit. He cursed me out, calling me just about every name in the book, and it didn't stop after, the hand was over. It continued for hours. I'm serious, it continued for hours. My opponent, yeah, he played the hand well. He got the money in, most of the money in, when he was good, and I was drawing extremely thin. And I played it the way I thought I should play it, and I just happened to get lucky and draw out on him on the end. He went around to just about every table or anyone that had their ears available and told them what a horrible player I was, and he can't believe that I made such a bad play. And wow, great advertisement. I think I'm going to be getting action from everybody for the next, month or so, just from this one hand. And as for being called all sorts of names by this particular player, it doesn't bother me much. He just took a horrible beat and he was upset. So if it doesn't bother me, it really shouldn't bother you. It's no big deal.
I think you're getting stuck in fancy play syndrome. You're trying to make all these weird, fancy plays instead of just playing solid poker. Be solid. Let the other people make crazy plays against you. You just be solid. Don't be floating the pot with a weak hand against a strong draw. Doesn't make much sense. Instead, bloat the pot when you have a strong hand against a weak draw.
After several players limp in, I looked down at Queen Jack suited in the small blind, decided it was worth a raise to 15. I ended up getting called in 4 spots. So we're going to end up going 4 ways to this flop with $60 in the pot. Flop comes out 9, Jack, 7 with 2 diamonds. Definitely could be betting here, so I make a wager for $25, only get called from the player on my left. So we get to see a turn card of a 3 of clubs. If I was good before, I'm still good now. So I decided to bet again, this time for $35. My opponent thinks for a little bit and puts in the call. So we get to see a river card that comes another blank, a deuce of hearts. So it doesn't help my opponent. If he has something like Jack 10 or 9-10, he might put in a crying call. So I bet for 50, just trying to extract a little more value. He doesn't think long before mucking it, and on to the next hand. I'm in the hijack with 2 jacks. There were a bunch of limpers, so naturally I'm going to put in a raise. So I make it 20, and to my surprise, everybody, including everybody, calls. So we're going to go 6 ways to a flop with 120 in the center. And I'm just hoping for a good flop. And it comes out 5-3-3. So pretty good flop for an overpair. It gets checked around to me, and I think this is a perfect opportunity to bet about 1/3 pot. So I grab 40 chips and shove it in there. One by one, my opponents start to fold until it gets to the player on my right, who has a very large stack, and I can tell that he knows how to play the game. And he decides to put in a check raise to 140. Now, he could be doing this with a 3, of course, or he could be representing a 3 and maybe doing this with some sort of other draw, maybe like a wheel draw like ace-4 or ace-deuce, or maybe like 6-4. Maybe he has an overpair like pocket 6s or 7s that he's trying to get value from. I'm not going anywhere. I put in the call. Turn card comes as a 9 of hearts. Doesn't really change too much. This time he checks. And when he checks, I feel very relieved. I think I have the best hand, but I'm not going to bloat the pot. I'd go ahead and check it back. Looking for a blank on the river, and it comes king of spades. Now, even though it's an overcard to my pair, I don't think it's going to hit my opponent's hand. I'm really putting him on a bunch of little cards or hands like ace-4 or ace-deuce. Anyway, after some thinking, he decides to bet, and, $225. I think that's a fair price for a pair of jacks. So I don't think too long before putting in the call. And he just says, good call, you got me. And he rolls over 6-4 offsuit. And for our final hand of the day, we look down at 2 jacks. A couple people limped in front of us. We make it 20. And we end up getting 4 callers for the 20. So we're going to go 5 ways to this flop with 104 in the center. Flop comes out King Jack 3. So it's good and it's bad because it's all clubs. Well, what to do with middle set on a very monotone board? I decide to check at this point just because I have 4 other players. And one player puts in a bet for 50, everyone else folds out, and it comes back around to me. Of course, I'm going to continue. I'm probably good right now, but it would be nice to see a safe card come out on the turn. So I put in the $50, and we go to the turn heads up. Turn card is a 8 of clubs. Bad card. Okay, flush draw gets there. I still got a set. Maybe I can fill up. I check it over to him, and my opponent, being a wise player that he is, decides to go for a pot-sized bet. Not getting the right price on this particular round to be drawing to a full house when I have to put out $200 to do so. But I believe there's some extra money I can pick up if the board pairs, because he is very deep. River card comes as 2 of clubs. We do improve our hand from 3 of a kind to a flush. It doesn't do us much good, especially when our opponent bets $300 into the pot. And here I'm just going to fold. There's not much I can do. There's really no chance that he's betting the board. And that's what I'm basically playing. I mucked it. He showed ace of spades, queen of clubs. Shortly after that hand, I decided to leave. Our high water mark was like 1240 or so, And we still ended up cashing out $960 winner, which is pretty good. Of course, I had to make a big suck out with the 8-5 of clubs against the King Queen of Hearts. That was definitely the turning point of the day. Yeah, I'm going to be hearing about that one for a long time. As I said, there was quite a bit of chatter in the card room over the next few days after this session happened. People coming up and asking me whether it was true. And I just told them whatever you heard was true. I don't know what you heard, but whatever it was true. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Really do appreciate your support. And until next time, we'll see you later.